Hello, folks. Welcome to the Manly Pinterest Tip Show. I'm Jeff C., and you're not. And I'm very excited for the show today. But before I get started, I want to tell you all about a private group training I'm getting ready to start for a select few, a Manly Masterclass, if you will. I'm wanting to keep the class size down small so we can really work together on your Pinterest account and driving traffic and helping you and get the results that you need. So if you're interested in finding out more, go to manlypinteresttips.com/training. Now, I'm very excited to have my friend Peg Fitzpatrick here with me on the show to talk about social media for the holidays. So, if for some crazy reason you don't know who Peg is, she is the co-author of The Art of Social Media, Power Tips for Power Users with Guy Kawasaki. She's been seen on Time, Huffington Post, Inc. Magazine, NPR's Tech Nation, and she runs social media campaigns for some of the top companies around. She spearheaded social media campaigns for Motorola, Audi, Google, Virgin, and more. And she's probably taught me more about Pinterest than anybody else. So, Peg, thanks so much, and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on the Manly Pinterest Tip Show. It always makes me feel extra girly to be here.
That's right, exactly. So as we're going along today's show, if you have any questions for Peg in the audience, go ahead and ask those, and we'll try to get them to the during the show today. And just go /Q, and that will kind of highlight it for us, and we can see it in the stream, and we will try to answer that question for you. So, Peg, before we start off the show today about the social media tips for the holidays, you know, I talked last week with Vincent Ng about this new visual search tool on Pinterest, and I know you've been playing with it. So what are your thoughts about it? Do you like it? Do you think it's a good thing? What are your thoughts?
I think as a blog, I'm not a fashion blogger or a food blogger. So I think for me, I don't see the benefit as much. If I was a fashion blogger, are you guys getting an echo now? Because I hear an echo from me again.
No, I'll scoot my stuff back, but I don't. Let me try something else.
I'm sorry. I'll unplug it.
Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I can't hear you at all now, Peg. Okay, start talking. Let me see if I can get you. It's always Jeff C's fault. Thanks, Elisa. I appreciate it. I can't hear you at all. You went silent. At least for me, you did. Can you guys hear Peg at all? No. Oh, so Blab's been having text problems. Can you guys hear me? We can't hear Peg anymore. Peg. Oh, and she's gone. So after that great introduction, Peg has left the building. So hopefully she'll come back right away. She's probably refreshing. She's probably getting a refreshing drink, Elisa Meredith. Peg may have to call in by phone to get audio. Can you do that on Blab? I'm not sure how. Oh, on the mobile app. Gotcha. I see what you're saying, Empress of Dirt. Well, does anybody else have any questions about the what do you guys do to get ready for the holidays? I admit that this year I kind of dropped the ball scheduling stuff. I mean, for my clients I did, but for myself and my personal brand, I really struggled. So what are your tips? Anyone in the chat, if you want to jump in? Elisa, if you want to jump in. Here's Peg. Let me see if I can get her back in.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay, well, I just went out and in, and then it fixed it. But I tried to do Safari, and it said that it would. It said use Chrome or Firefox, and I was like, seriously? Okay, so anyway, let's just keep going.
All right, so I can hear you. Are you hearing an echo at all?
I'm not now. So okay, so back to your really great question, Jeff.
The visual search tool.
The visual search on Pinterest. I think for a social media blogger, I don't see the difference for me because while my images are relevant to what I talk about, I'm not sure if they're going to help more people find me. So I think if I was a fashion blogger, so many of the makeup and fashion bloggers have all these like click to buy kind of blog posts. I think it's really going to boost sales for that kind of person, for people who are actually selling products, I think it's going to be great. I think for us, we may need to just make sure our pictures are extra relevant to what we're talking about in our blog posts. So I think maybe, instead of maybe picking something real artistic, maybe we need to be like really related to what we're talking about. So I think some ways for social media bloggers, I think it's maybe a little challenge to make sure that we're on the ball for images, because I think that specific service isn't set up to help us. But Pinterest in general is really great for the crafty bloggers, the mom bloggers, the crafty mom bloggers, like food bloggers, anybody who's making and doing. That's what Pinterest is about, makers and doers. And we're kind of the people who are figuring out how to do the other parts of it, the marketing and the sales piece, which is also important, but it never seems to be like a focus on what Pinterest sets up. Theirs is for the makers and the creators, and we're like the tinkers and the fixers. So I think for us, it makes a little challenge to make sure that our images are related to what people might find on the visual search.
The thing I found with the visual search, and I know that you do a lot of visual marketing, trying to see what looks the best, what works the best on Pinterest and stuff. What I've been able to do is take and use the visual search tool to find things related to give me ideas for posts. So like my stuff is retro. And so if I highlight my own pin, it'll bring up like old movie posters, stuff like that. It was really interesting when it first came out. I did some of Social Media Examiner's, and they had one that had kind of stacked text, and it would bring up the keep calm kind of posters, those keep calm and keep pinning. And so it's kind of getting those visual things in there. And the other thing is, if you put the icon of like Facebook or Instagram, if you're having a blog post about that, it will use that to pull up other tools that will, other pins that are related to Instagram if you have the Instagram symbol. So that's kind of a way that we can use it as marketers.
It is. You do have to be careful, though. I just was looking over the weekend at the Pinterest guidelines for what you can use for their Pinterest branding, and they really don't want you to use their Pinterest word logo, which is in Canva. So if you make designs in Canva, don't use the Pinterest word that's exactly their logo, because they say they don't want you to imply that you're working with Pinterest or it's a Pinterest post, which it could imply depending on how you word it. And we know there's a few Pinterest self-proclaimed experts who may make it sound like it's directly from Pinterest. So you need to make sure that your pins are accurately reflecting your relationship with Pinterest, which is just a pinner. So, and I have to say, I have used it in the past. Like, I didn't know a long time ago, and I just found that, and they really don't want you to use their Pinterest logo words. So it's just something to be careful.
Can you still use the Circle P?
I think you can. I think you can use their logo. As long as it's the official one, which it is in Canva, the one that you use in there. So just be careful when you're putting your graphics together to make sure that you're following the guidelines for any social platform. Twitter updated their logo, and they were like, don't use our old logo anymore. And then I'm always like, which one's the new one? The bird that's facing a little up, or like you really have, there's a lot to know as a social media manager.
Yeah, and those people who you're getting those logos, like Dustin Stout, he does a good job of coming out with the new versions. In fact, it's one of his pet peeves when he sees it wrong, he will call you on it on your site. So, but he's find people you trust, and then you can use those people as resources, or go to it's sometimes hard to find their actual official logos. It's kind of buried sometimes in their sites, and so find those, and you can get them that way. Okay, so holidays and social media. I was telling them when you had kind of dropped out for a little bit that I kind of dropped the ball this year. I did it last year really well. I had like videos and stuff, and for my clients I was fine, but I just for my personal brand and for mainly Pinterest tips, I just didn't do it as well. So, the holidays are stressful. I know you manage multiple social media accounts for some big companies, and the internet does not take a holiday break. So how do you keep it going and balance time with your family?
I make them all work for me. No, I'm just kidding. That's my little secret dream. I'm always like, do some work for me. No, I try to do things ahead of time as much as I can, Jeff. That's the thing. The certain dates are coming up, and you just plan ahead and get the stuff out. I try to make it so I can do as much ahead of time, but you always do have to check in and check everything. No matter what social media, management tool you use, you still have to check to make sure everything worked. So I try just to work it out the best I can and, give time for my family where I can. It's, sometimes I'm like, sorry, but
Yeah.
I can cook and have my stuff next to me.
Right. Well, you're super organized though. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the things. I mean, I'd like to have you tell a little bit about your Trello strategy because I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But you have stuff laid out. And the question I have, I mean, I know like Twitter to me is not a big deal to schedule stuff out. I mean, it's not hard to do that. But
No.
Facebook, and I've seen different people talk about this, is and I think Holly Homer, I mean, she schedules it out, but she doesn't go like weeks in advance. She keeps it.
Because she does like 10 or 12 a day.
Yeah.
You can't find that much content. Your brain would explode.
And she's got a team too. So,
Yeah.
but the thing is, I mean, I know it's different for different networks. So do you have a strategy like for each one? I mean, and I know you use multiple tools, but so kind of explain how you do that for like the clients that you run social for.
Well, one of the things I do is I use Feedly, Feedly. Who's calling me?
I'm sorry.
It's Guy.
It's Guy.
He's gonna have to wait. Sorry.
Oh, you're on a show. Yeah.
He has like radar when I'm online. He calls like during my Q&A. He calls all the time. I'm like, I have like one thing a week. Okay, so this is the blab where I ignore a guy's call.
That's right. I'm more important than Guy right now, everyone.
You're all so important. Anyway, so I use Feedly to set up like little different groups for different accounts that I manage. Mm-hmm. So for example, I have a LinkedIn account. I have that set up in Feedly, and then I pick the different topics that are relevant and I put them in there. And so I can go into Feedly inside Sprout Social because I love Sprout Social. So I have Feedly set up. I work it in Sprout Social, and then I can just go in and do huge chunks of content curation that way. And I constantly weed and fix my Feedly to make sure that the accounts that it's feeding in there are accurate. So if I'm constantly seeing that I don't like anything from this blog anymore, I delete it from Feedly. So it's kind of like Pandora. I don't know if anybody's used Pandora, but Pandora playlists run and they play all this music for you. And if you don't like songs, you just click on it. I don't like it. I don't like it. And eventually you end up with this perfect playlist and it plays all songs that you like and you never have to say you don't like anything anymore. So Feedly is kind of like that. It's not like set it up and leave it, which honestly, like nothing in social media is set it up and leave it. It's all constant work, believe it or not. So I'm constantly tweaking my Feedly to make sure that the blog posts that it's pulling in there are the ones that I want to see all the time. I don't want to have to feed through stuff that I don't want to see. So I bring in content that I only want to see. So for example, Social Media Examiner, I have going into my Feedly. But I know that I want to share Social Media Examiner because I love Social Media Examiner. So what I did for blogs and I only do it for a couple, but for Social Media Examiner, I created an IFT recipe so it would automatically share that when it came out because that saves me a step, right? I'm not going to share that post everywhere in the whole world, but I know I'm going to tweet it every day, right? Because I want to help and share it. I'm a part of Social Media Examiner. I speak at the conferences. I know that the content is really great because it goes through a whole bunch of filters and, the people that write are high quality. So find your Social Media Examiners. And, you can automate those things without doing too much every day. So that's going to automatically go. And then I'll see it in my Feedly as well. So maybe it's something really great that I want to share on LinkedIn or Facebook or somewhere else as well. And read it, of course, you pull them up and you look at them. But so that's one way that I do it is I spend a lot of time setting up my different curation methods. So they're good. And actually, I went through and I reviewed it because I have a call with someone tomorrow. Actually, it's Guy's wife to help her with some curation because she's working with a company called Reboot at a Silicon Valley startup for women to try to help them figure out how to, get their careers going. after being home with their kids.
Right.
So she has a different area of expertise. So I'm going to help her figure her stuff out. So I pulled up my post, which is Feeding the Content Monster, which was the basis for the section in Art of Social Media. And I was like, wow, I do everything totally different. I thought, oh, my process is probably still about the same.
Right.
It's not at all. So I kind of need to like rewrite that whole thing. So Feedly is the foundation that I start with for that. And then I pull stuff in, and then I, will share them through Sprout Social. If I get to Feedly and like sometimes there's just no new good blog content coming out.
Right.
Sometimes I'm like, I've already read this. There's a couple blogs that, they're writing on one topic and they're phoning it in at this point, and they're big ones.
Right.
You can guess who they are, everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't want to share them. So sometimes I'll go to other sources. So I will go to BuzzSumo, for example. Jeff, you were talking about that the other day. Sometimes I'll go there if I'm looking for a specific topic. For guys content, I focus on startups, entrepreneurships, tech content, things like that. So it's really important. So I use BuzzSumo, and I will go in and search for certain topics. I also use Alltop, which is Guy's site, which is similar to Feedly, where you can search for certain topics, and it has popular content in there. So it's really the best thing that you can do for yourself is to spend the time to get set up to find all these different great articles that you're going to want to share, or that you need to share. I also use Pinterest a lot, and then I put things on a secret board. For me, especially for my content, for my Facebook page and my Twitter, I find tons of it on Pinterest, because a lot of my favorite blogs all pin religiously, like the Nectar collection, and I love Exo Sarah. There's a bunch that are like my current favorites by Regina. I know I can find their latest things there. I could put them all into Feedly, and some of them are in there, but I also like to pin them. So right. I find those on Pinterest. I sometimes will save it on my board. Sometimes I save it on my private boards first if I'm going to share it other places. But sometimes I pin it and see how popular it is, and then I'll share it.
Gotcha. Now, do you set up a new Feedly account for all your different clients?
No, I do them all in my one big thing.
Okay.
I just put them in separate little folders.
Right. And then to your IFT, I don't know how to say that. IFT, your recipe. Yeah.
Is it IFT or IFT?
Yeah.
I think it's IFTT.
And it's a public recipe from you. If they go search for you on IFT, they
if then this that.
Yeah. Then they can do that too, because the cool thing about her recipe is it pulls the image as well. The only thing that that site will not let you do is @ mention. It strips the @ out of it,
yeah.
And that's because of Twitter's thing. But for all the other benefits, it's very, very cool. I actually created one it's neat that I have a board that I pin to called my pin of the day, and whenever I put a pin to that board, it automatically tweets that out with all the hashtags and everything I want. So it's another way to kind of speed up the process. And I, like you do, I don't do it for everyone, but just that certain board.
I do that on our shared Instagram board. That one is IFT tweeted.
Dotto, Steve says, say one letter at a time.
If then that, if this then that. That's what it actually stands for. Which, if you'd like to go back to the dark ages of the computer, when I took computer classes and there was little cards that you filled out the little bubbles in COBOL. Anybody just say in there, if you have used COBOL, you had to fill out the little cards. It's a little programming thing. If this happens, then that will happen. And that's basically what you do is like, if you pin on this board, then tweet it. If you tweet this, if you add an Instagram image, put it in my Dropbox folder. So it's taking one action and turning it into another action automatically for you. So we can put a link to that in the comments after that IFT recipe, but it's pretty hard to make sure you have the images pulling through in Twitter. You have to do quite a bit of finagling because that's a tough one too. But I do have that worked up for the blog post. It does make a difference. It tweets. I wish it would @ mention, but Twitter doesn't allow that, as you said. But
I even try. You can @ mention if you send it to Buffer, but then the problem is it doesn't grab the image. So you can't have both. So
Nope.
I would rather have the image than nothing. But there's a lot of cool things in there, and I've been doing it just like I use Peg's recipe for Social Media Examiner's post, and it does it every morning, so it works really well. And people are commenting on it because of the image. So very, very cool stuff. You mentioned Sprout Social for your go-to tool of choice. When you schedule things, let's say for Facebook, because I know you have a big presence on there as well, how far ahead are you able to schedule stuff? Do you do it like start on Saturday and do it for the week, or how do you do that?
I have to say, I actually schedule Facebook in Facebook.
Right.
I go old school because I think it does better. So I schedule in Facebook. So in an ideal world, if I just had all this time to work on my own social media, because that happens never. But if that did happen, I would go to my secret curated Pinterest content, and then I could schedule it right into Facebook. And ideally, I could have a week scheduled out.
Gotcha.
But I have to say, of all the things I do in the world, my own social is last. So that doesn't always happen, but I will do that for clients. I do that.
Gotcha. So the business is listening here, and they're trying to do stuff for the holidays. I mean, especially if they're brick and mortar, it's a crazy time of year. Mm-hmm. Should they only try to focus on one platform? We do kind of everything because that's our job. Right. But if it's a small business, let's say it's a flower shop or something, and they're getting the Christmas wreaths out and they're scrambling, should they just try to concentrate on one, or should they try to do two or three? I mean, what do you recommend for people who businesses are trying on social media?
Well, if they have already established things, that it's different than if they're just trying to break into it. If you're just trying to break into it and get it moving, now is too late. Sadly, I'm sorry, but it's too late. So you should use your largest platform that works best with your audience. So say you are a florist and you have specials going on, then I would probably use Facebook if that's where I had the biggest audience, and do some promoted posts for, like poinsettias are on sale from now until this date, and do that kind of things with timed things. I do like one of the features that I haven't heard anybody talk about is Facebook just switched it so you can have a post only be on for so long and then it's removed. Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So those things are set up specifically for that. I mean, in my mind, they pretty much disappear anyway. So it's kind of like, really, Facebook, if I leave it till Friday, is it still going to show anywhere?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't try to spread yourself too thin, but if you have a great photo or a great sale or great promotion, maybe pick your biggest platform and work on it. Cause like I said, it really is late. I had a client that come to me on December 29th saying, can you do my December sales for my huge company, my huge international company? Can you design it and implement it tomorrow? And I was like, for maybe a lot of money. And they were like, oh, yeah. What do you think, people? It's hard. It takes a long time to come up with content. And it's just late to do it. So if you have sales, if you have promotions, see if you can grab someone to help you. If you think it's really going to help make sales, if you have a business that can make direct sales from it, then do it. Otherwise, I would just use your social media to share some goodwill with your company, like maybe some things that you're helping out with locally. If you're doing Toys for Tots or Drop Off or anything like that, where you can just show how you're helping the community and being a part of the community, or even just the Christmas lights in your town, or special things like that. I would use it more as community building, and hey, we're open from here to here. And not stress yourself out without trying to create something, because it is late now.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, I know for your clients and mine, we started a way back planning for Christmas stuff and the posts for that. So yeah, this is probably too late of advice for a lot of people. But for next year, it's a podcast.
For next year, you can hire Jeff and I in September for December.
Exactly. Well, see, I'm already starting. I run the social for a big chocolate company factory, and we're already doing Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
We're already started and getting that stuff ready and getting ready to go out. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's very important to have you don't have, I mean, you can have ideas because, I mean, a lot of times they don't even have the stuff shot yet. They're doing that
Hmm.
right now.
Hmm.
And so, but you can start planning and getting ready and start thinking on strategy and stuff like that. So, how important it is, and it's really funny this year. I got a lot of people calling me, like last week for some reason, but they wanted to update their Facebook page for the holidays.
Hmm.
How important do you think it is to, I guess, dress up your social media account for the holidays?
I think
You
it's
know,
really important. I do it for all my accounts, and I actually really enjoy it. I keep them in the theme with my brands, and then I just create something that goes with it. The big key, and I know you know this, Jeff, though, is just when you load your new cover photo, click the photo, edit the description, and write all your great text with a link to stuff, and then save it again. It's kind of like Pinterest. It's not enough just to load your image. You have to
right.
edit it, and you have to add the link. You just have to do that extra step to make sure you're getting the most bang for your buck there. Because I see so many Facebook pages miss that step
Hmm.
that are run by professionals.
That's true. The thing also is don't just, and I had to do I spoke in the Social Media Examiners, their society, and they wanted me to do it on creating holiday images, which
Mm-hmm.
is hard. That was the hardest one I ever prepared for because
Yeah?
you just don't slap a Christmas tree on an image.
No.
There's a whole nother thing about creating a great image, and the same thing with updating your Facebook or whatever for the holidays is make sure it's a great image. Don't just slap a tree on it or a little Santa hat.
Yeah, it has
Think
to
about
fit
your
your
audience.
brand. I
Right.
like with Chryslers, I try to keep the orange always in there. Orange is a little hard for the holidays, but I found a really cool picture with orange slice. Like I went natural with gingerbread and it looks really good. I'll probably do another one that's more Christmas ornaments because Christmas, as we know, was started in Germany and they
Oh,
have really great Christmas ornaments and Christmas traditions. So I'll probably do another one when it gets closer, which is any second.
right.
um, so yeah, it is. I think it is important to do what you can to make your holiday presence known. I don't think that you have to go crazy and do it everywhere on Twitter, but for some reason, Facebook seems more like a community.
Hmm.
So I do like to do it on all the Facebook pages. And then just try to join the other community things where you can. Again, for a small business, this time of year is a great time to reach more people using hashtags on Twitter, hashtag, things that are going on, as long as they're appropriate. I saw a lot of big brands hopping into the Charlie Brown Christmas special
Right.
and the Wiz. Mercedes did an amazing tie into the Wiz.
Very cool.
So
That's
yeah, it's
it's very
smart.
smart. Yeah, I still my favorite one going around right now is it's for AT&T, but it's the Rudolph comes in and talks to the animated lady, and I thought that's genius. I mean, they're tying into that kind of stuff. The
Yeah.
question I have is, I see a lot of blog posts and a lot of stuff even on Pinterest about all the user generated
Hmm.
content. Make a contest, do this stuff. You know, how effective is that? Does that really bring a good return on investment? How can you not just get lost in the noise? I mean, especially on Instagram, everyone's saying do an Instagram contest and do the hashtag and you know,
Is that like
convincing your
anything?
boss.
Do the hashtag. Dun, 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 dun.
I
Do the
should make that.
hashtag.
That's right. So, convincing your boss who doesn't know anything about Instagram,
Mm.
that may be hard to do.
User generated content is really, really important. I just read some crazy statistics that said that it generates just, I don't even know, it was like 78% higher return than regular. I'm guessing on that because I just read it and I don't have it in front
Right.
of me. But it does give great returns for people who are getting great user generated content. So if you are a brand, say Mercedes, again, I'm just going to use as an example because I just saw their stuff and worked with them recently as a disclosure, but I didn't do any of this stuff
Right.
with
Right.
them. They do great user generated stuff on Instagram all the time, and people just know which hashtags to use. So it's out there. It's kind of, I did it when I worked with Canva. I gave people like the Canva love or made with Canva hashtags, and people still use them today, and nobody really promotes them anymore. But
Mhm.
I really pushed it and said, let's use this. I had it out there, and people still use it. If you check Twitter and Instagram, people are still using it. So it's not that hard to get it started. I would say cost-wise, very low cost, because all you have to do is encourage people to use a hashtag. That's just like one Instagram post or maybe a blog post. So I think it's worth it.
Or even, if you have a product, I mean, I think that'd be huge. Show it, show people using the product. I mean, there was the big infographic company did one on Instagram, and they had a contest, and it went viral and did really, really well. Mm-hmm. In one post I read to Sarah, to show old like images from the holidays and hashtag it with Latergram, is popular on Instagram, and so that's something you could do. The other question I wanted to ask you is, okay, this is different from last year. Is this year we have live video and we have multiple. The cookies are done. We have multiple.
God, what is up with Everett? I never get any notifications. Stop it.
We'll edit it out, no problem. We have live video this year, and we have like multiple platforms now. People have Facebook Live and rolling out to everybody, and Periscope and all this stuff. How important is that, do you think, for the holidays, for the market during the holidays? I mean, I'm scared that we're going to see all these people unwrapping presents. What does that really have to do with anything for my audience?
I hope not. I think as a small business, there's great ways that you could use it in small bits. Like say in our town, we have this really cute kitchen store called Your Kitchen Store. And it's downtown. It's in our cute little downtown area. They have a great space in the back where they sometimes have like celebrity guests, chefs come in and make stuff. If that was me, I would Periscope, someone in there making Christmas cookies saying, come and get all your stuff to make them. There's a lot of great ways to use it. I have to say the absolute queen right now for me in Facebook Live is Martha Stewart. She is killing it with her videos. I am like the hugest Martha Stewart fangirl from way back. Right. I love her. I know she's made some mistakes, but who hasn't? Right. She yesterday was making her cookies live and she had all the stuff and she's sitting there cooking it. People were going crazy. And then every once in a while she'll stop and go, oh, well, if you want this recipe's in my cookie book, she just throws in her like little, like you can buy it in this book. It's on our website here. We made a group of all the stuff here. You can click and get all the recipes. Does she need to do that? Probably not, because she's probably makes more money than anyone else except for Oprah, but she is doing it. So that tells me that there's a lot of value there if Martha's willing to hop on there. And that was her third one, because she did 2 before Thanksgiving. She did one that was pies. She made pies. And then she did the turkey.
Right. You posted that, yeah.
Yeah, because and my husband watched all of them. It was like, cool. Oh my God. Because that's how I make my turkey. I use her turkey, perfect turkey 101 recipe. It's amazing. Like it turns out perfect. So there's something to be said for being at the absolute top of your game. Like Martha Stewart making a pie. She is in her element. I will say she was at Inbound Live and she spoke about branding up on the stage. It wasn't the best. That's not her forte. She's not really good at like the public speaking thing. But wow, in her kitchen with all of her stuff there, she's funny. She's, so find your own Martha Stewart thing and be the Martha Stewart of whatever your genre is, and find a way that you can live stream that. Do you want to just do stupid, boring things? Please, no. Please. Yeah,
I don't want to see you eating a granola bar. That does not, whatever.
Crinkling the wrapper. Yeah. Like, hey, I mean, popcorn internet, entertain me. Like, no.
Right. No. Well, the funny thing is I did, I've been trying the Snapchat because I never did it. And Michael Stelzer started doing it. I was just testing it. And so we went to the Christmas tree to get our Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And I just did that. And I had so many then I posted it to Facebook. I had so many stinking views that people really liked that. I mean, people actually, hey, I saw your show with the Christmas tree thing. I'm like, oh, cool. I mean, I guess, but it builds engagement. So I guess my point is even, things that you're just sharing for fun of it really do help people get to know you.
Well, those are the things that people really like, right?
Right. Yeah.
They really, I'm going to Snapchat you talking about that.
Oh, great. I'll do animated. Like, Elisa has
later.
Lisa says she's talking about Instagram. She goes, the app delivered brands 58 times more engagement per follower than Facebook and 120 times more engagement per follower than Twitter, which
Yeah.
is, and that's from Sprout Social. So that's,
Thank you for the stats, Chica.
yeah, thanks, Wonder Woman. So I mean, just, I guess, do you think the next year it's going to be all about engagement? I mean, I know there's always talking about traffic and we've got live video now, but
I think traffic is changing. I mean, obviously Twitter, stopping their social shares, everybody's like, what? Like, I don't know. It messed up the way everything looks on your blog now. Like it's all unbalanced. There's nothing for Twitter. Should we just turn them off and not show them at all? I don't know. But I do think that video is the way that people engage the best and tell their story the best way.
Right.
I think people are very nervous to get in front of a camera and share their personal story, but YouTubers have been killing it. Those are the people that are making so much money. It is not the people who are tweeting a lot. It's the people on YouTube who publish one really great video a week and then spend the rest of the time engaging with their audience in the comments, on Instagram and Twitter. Those are the people who have big deals, big endorsements. They all got plastic surgery to look better. I just thought I'd throw that in there because I didn't know that one until I was like, really? My daughter was like, yeah, they all do that. So anyway, so this is just Jeff and I, this is like our natural us. We have not altered, in case you were wondering.
This is real.
Oh.
Real. Yeah, that's, and just for my own example, I started a show over a year ago on Google Plus. Mm-hmm. Well, that led to me talking with you and becoming friends, and then I had a podcast, but the video thing is what I think got me to where I got asked to speak, and then that led to working with Social Media Examiner, and so I can trace that all back to being video and being real. I mean, it was hard because I like, you and I both have performing backgrounds, and I did a lot of scripted stuff. I also did some improv, but I still plan for things. So getting in front of a camera was kind of hard for me, and because you're like, what do I talk about? Does anybody care? That kind of thing. And so the thing is, it really does build engagement with people. It's just. And so for the holidays,
and it does take practice, but it's worth it. I mean, you're not going to be perfect right away, and that's okay.
Right.
Nobody's perfect right away. Just get in there and do it. And yes, sometimes you have technical problems. Sometimes your sound stops. Sometimes those things all happen when you do it yourself too. And sometimes those end up being the funniest. Some of Guy's Facebook Live videos, like his daughter does the funniest things just because she's in there, or like his youngest son. He's just funny. He's the youngest. He's going to be like, oh, and then everybody's like, oh my gosh, what was that? It makes it real, and it gives you a different level of him, a different level of his life and what he's all about. And,
and I was watching the unboxing that he did of the big iPad.
Yeah.
And, she's a teenager. And so it's funny to watch her going, she said, well, show him this. He's like, Dad, it's hilarious. But that gives you a connection with Guy. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. So what tips do you think? Let's talk one. And we started, and then we got on a rant. But for holidays, for live video, for what would you tell like a small business owner to do? Some ideas maybe they could use.
Okay, for small business owners, depending on what kind of field you work in, you could do something to just do a little holiday greeting from your staff members. Just like a little like, hey, we want to say thanks. We're the people that you see at the front desk every week. We appreciate you coming in. You could do a thank you to your customers. Why not just say thank you to your customers? Mm-hmm. It's hard to reach every single person, but video seems much more personal than just, a Facebook post. So, oh my God. Why am I so popular today? Stop all things.
I think that's what happened last time. They don't want you to tell the secrets for small business on
video.
Sorry.
I would definitely try to just think of some personal ways that you can either thank people or share an event that's going on. Don't try to make it about sales. Just make it about, being a part of people's holiday greetings and spreading good cheer. do something funny. I mean, don't be the used car salesman that makes like the really bad commercials on TV, but
Right.
make something funny, connect with people, say hi. I'm always thinking like in the dry cleaning industry because that's one of the ones that I work in. And it's a very challenging small business to do on
Right.
social media. So, the dry cleaning owner would be someone in the back that people wouldn't typically see. You might like to hear a thank you from that person.
Right.
So
Yep.
I would think of things like that, or just local things that are going on that you could connect with, that help tell your brand story.
I think that's a good point. I think not being salesy all the time, and I think as marketers, we always try to twist things all the time to make the sale or build the list or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's fine to do. I think saying, hey, because I'll do it at the end of the show, I do it at the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine, but don't be, like you said, a used car salesman on your posts or the cookies are done again. It's funny. It's never like this with you. But anyway, so be authentic. Martin says the motto for 2016 would be authentic. I think that's great.
It's always been the motto.
Yeah, and
but
so,
I think that's the key though, is just connecting. It's fine to give the stats at the end, like come and see us. We're here from blah to blah. We appreciate you so much. And I think it's the time of year when people just want to hear a thank you, from
Right.
now until after New Year's.
Yeah.
Stuck on your present ideas. I don't know. If I had a really little store, I would be like, are you stuck with present ideas? I would do like 5 things that you could come and get today for your wife to dig yourself out of a hole on Christmas.
That's right. Well, I saw some really good ones.
Funny ones.
Yeah, I think humor goes a long way. You think of all the good commercials you remember.
Yeah.
They're usually the funny ones. I still remember that stinking cat herder commercial that they did on Super Bowl years ago, and that made me laugh so hard, and I remember it. And one of the questions, one of the things I was going to say that I can't remember right now what I was going to say. Anyway,
because you're old.
Because I'm old. I'm not that old, Peg. So, so here it is. Do you go back and look at your analytics from last year? Because I read this in an article. Go back and look and see what worked good for Christmas last year, and then start planning what would work good for the holidays this year. Do you do any sort of like ending analytics stuff?
I really don't. Because I don't work directly for a dry cleaner, so I'm B2B, I'm business to business. So that's different. I'm always just about making myself better, and I'm constantly tweaking it and looking at it. So from that standpoint, I don't. I'm sure some people probably do, but and if you worked for a big brand and you were selling exactly the same product, maybe you would want to do that. But I'm usually just about, this.
Gotcha.
What's going on now, moving forward? What's going on now, moving forward? And I look at the holidays as just, thanks and being part of the message and brand awareness, because I'm not selling a specific thing that, no one's going to click and buy dry cleaning chemicals from our little Facebook page thing. I mean, they could if they wanted. That would be great. Right. But I don't think they do.
Right.
So, so it depends on what kind of business you're in. I think it's all about moving forward. I mean, I think the way social media keeps evolving and changing, it's like you can barely go and do the same thing from month to month at this point. It's Very all true. Changing. Like last year, Facebook at this time was totally different. You could post things and people would see it.
Not anymore.
Now you have to plan your budget and you have to plan ads and all kinds of stuff. So and I think Twitter is moving that way.
Do you think this new Facebook Live is it's just another bell and whistle for Facebook, or do you think that it will actually help companies increase their engagement? Because just like on Periscope now, we talked about doing live video for the holidays. Next year, by now, everyone should have that live video feature on Facebook. Is that something, or will everybody be doing that, and that's just one more thing I'm flipping through in the feed?
I don't think everyone's going to be good at it. So I think there's going to be a lot of bad video, and then I think it's just going to make people hate it. And I don't think you can make people see what they want to see. People on Facebook really do just want to see their friends and families, and I don't think they necessarily want to see you don't want to see all video. We like variety.
Right.
I mean, it's nice to have video, and there's some people who are great at it. But I don't know. I think it could be just too much if every single person has the ability. You know, well, like when you're on Periscope, you know, more than half the Periscopes are like, learn how to Periscope by watching this Periscope. It's marketers marketing about marketing. It's
Right.
not interesting for people.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
That's a good point.
I don't know. It's hard to say where it's going to go. I think there's some people that it's going to be great for, and some people don't need it. And some people don't want to be on camera.
I think the people who can figure out how to do edutainment, even to sell their product, is going to stand out. You know, you think about the good ones like Blend Tech, where they would they put stuff in the blender to blend. You know, see what blends. Yeah. That was genius because it was their blender and it was funny, and people would watch that. You know, and so I think people who can figure that and think really hard, because that's not easy to do.
Funny is the hardest. Funny is the hardest.
Even that Squatty Potty video that went around.
That was the
unicorn. It is, but it's genius.
Yeah.
It is genius.
Yes.
One, because they were on Shark Tank. Yeah. Two, that helped. And then that video came out. Oh my gosh.
The video is hysterical. But you have to be a brand that's willing to take a risk.
Right.
To try something like unicorns making a swirly ice cream cone. I mean, not genius. All brands won't do that or can't do that. So it depends on.
And my thing is the marketer who can do that, who can stand out in the stream, you know, that's going to be the person who's going to be successful. So
right, and that's how it's been evolving, because for a long time it was who can write the wittiest context in 140 characters.
Right.
You know, can you write great tweets that are clever and witty? And I don't think clever and witty go as far as they used to anymore.
No.
I wrote a really great one for Canva the other day. I don't even know if anybody even got it. It was a drag and drop joke. And I was like, I'm so brilliant. And I don't even know if anybody got it. I'm like, did y'all get my joke? You know.
Now we're all going to have to go back and look and see.
Go look at it. It was a good one. I think it's pinned on Guy's Twitter page. But, you know, but that used to be the thing. Like, you just had to be super clever on Twitter,
right,
you know, and write something great. And then it turned to, you have to write something great. It has to link to a really amazing, you know, cornerstone blog post that's going to change someone's life when they read it. And it has to have an amazing graphic or video. All of those things, you know, like, so where do we keep, I mean, it just keeps snowballing up. I don't know where it's going to go. So I can't say I feel like everyone's going to be awesome at video. I mean, we've had Periscope and stuff out. And in some ways, you know, just being a celebrity does make it awesome, because people want to be on with a celebrity. They want to, I will click and watch Martha's. Love Martha. Like it pops up. It's like Martha Stewart's Live. I'm like, hey Martha, let's make a pie. You know, like, you know, it's just, I know she's going to be awesome. But I don't know if everybody doesn't have that same draw or quality. And like I said, you see that with the Periscopes, because so many of them or even Blabs, same thing. You know, are people talking about good content, or are they just talking about the same thing again? Like Twitter chats have been going on for years, and some of them are just repeating the same things that have been said in Twitter chats for the past 3 or 4 years.
Right.
You know, there are new people every day showing up. So there's definitely people that haven't heard it, but there's a lot of people maybe that have. So it's like finding that special quality that's going to make your videos interesting and good.
Right. Yeah.
Hard.
Great points. We have one question that somebody asked that it was Martin. He asked at the very beginning when we were talking about not using the Pinterest logo word. He says, can you use their colors, the RGB or hex code?
I think you can.
You can't. Yeah, you can't. I don't think you can. Much like a hashtag, you can't copyright. I don't think you can copyright colors. So I think you're good there, Martin.
Yeah, I think they were just specific on their logo. Like you can't use their actual logo.
Right.
Because it's kind of implying that it's from Twitter.
Pinterest.
That place.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Well, Peg.
Twinterest.
Well, Peg, I know that you're busy, and I want to make sure that
clearly I get a lot of phone calls.
You are. I mean, all these people are talking to you. But before we go, I want you. Where can we find out more about you and your services? And do you have anything exciting? And tell people a little bit about your book club because that's really cool.
Oh, you know what? I'm not actually doing. I don't think I'm going to continue book club. We'll see.
Oh well, then don't.
Yeah,
Don't
I
say.
don't know. So, services. I have no services. Please don't ask me to do anything for you. Don't contact me. I am busy.
This is it's like the anti call to action
It's true.
from Peg.
But you can please read my blog at pegfitzpatrick.com. I love when people read and share my blog and repin my stuff because that makes me super happy. But
what's your Pinterest account?
Peg Fitzpatrick and Peg Fitzpatrick everywhere. So
Very, very cool.
yeah, thank you for offering. But yeah, book club, I just don't know if I can keep it up. It's like a few people like it. I love it. I just don't know if it's, time constraints.
You got some great authors on there. That was
I've had
awesome.
all the great authors. Maybe I should just drop the mic. I don't know. We'll see. But
Okay.
there's a couple people, like I don't have his book right here, but Damon John has his book coming out, and Gary Vee's got his book coming out. So you never know. I mean,
well,
if you had to twist my arm and do a Gary Vaynerchuk book club, I would.
Well, the Damon Johns one, he was the one holding up your book, The Art of Social Media, saying how cool it was. So that was very
nice.
cool.
He's the nicest person when you meet him. And his book is really good. I'm reading it right now. I got a pre-copy of it, and I do love it. So it's cool to read a book by somebody who actually does all of it. He legit started business. He knows branding. He knows, how to get things going. It's not somebody who just, read about it and who's writing about it, because there's a lot of people who do that. So.
Right. Well, awesome, Peg. Thanks so much for being here. As for always, everybody, I'd love for you to visit manlypinteresttips.com, click on the side, and subscribe to our email community so you never miss a great guest like we had with Peg here today. Because at Manly Pinterest Tips, we're always adding testosterone one pin at a time. See you next time, everybody.
Bye. Thanks, Jeff.
It shows that, okay, now I'm recording again, so it's very strange. Hey, Lisa, I don't know what happened. I really hope I didn't lose my entire blab session. So I'm going to stop